So hey guys, thanks ever so much for joining us live today. Um, we're going to be talking about the Nathan She video message that came out yesterday. Now yesterday was my birthday. It's my birthday. Du. So I was over in Brum, had a lovely day, went to the theatre, had some nice food, had a wander about. Obviously, the video message dropped yesterday, so it is Christmas Eve. So if you're joining us live, thanks for joining us. You might watch it back, but I thought it was important to get some opinion on what Nathan She said yesterday. This is the article which I will share for you. Hold on a second, which has got all the words on. Share the screen. And it was about a 3-minute video, and it's on the Wolves website. Basically, the narration of that is all written down, as you can see there. So I'm joined by Emma, producer, and
Hello.
also the founder of Girls in Old Gold as well. So, Emma, I just wanted, thanks for joining us, live as well, because this is an impromptu live. Emma, I just wanted to get some feeling from you. You having digested it for a day, watched it back a few times, like we all have, read it, on what your take is, what's your initial thoughts on the first time we've heard directly from the new interim chairman, Nathan She.
Hello, everyone. Firstly, I just really think he was in a no-win situation, wasn't he? It didn't matter what he do, there would be cynical fans that didn't believe him. So, I mean, really, I would say he just couldn't win with this one. But I do think that this is a really, really important statement. I am really pleased with the transparency, the openness. We've been asking for communication like this for a long, long time, but we haven't had it. The communication from Jeff has come via the Express and Star, the radio interviews, and to be honest, as Wolves fans, it's been a PR disaster. So really, I think that's a big tick on the list. He communicated well. He got all his points across. He was easy to understand, and he actually got off his backside and recognised that communication and dialogue with the fans was essential in the circumstances we're in. Do you want me to carry
Yeah,
on?
yeah. No, I think you make some really really good points on that. Um, you know, at the end of the day, it's there is going to be a lot of people that are very cynical, and you can completely. I think you completely understand that a lot of fans will be, oh, well, that's just paying lip service. It's a smokescreen. They're going to be. It's AI generated. I've heard things like it was AI generated.
Really? I've not seen
And
that one, but hey.
I've seen a few things on X as you do. But you can kind of understand that because of how bad things have got and
Oh
how
yeah.
many times they've heard from what is, the other She, Jeff, who obviously is an employee of Fosun, that they're going to just think, well, this is just a new version of the same thing, saying the same things. So you can kind of understand people being cynical and apprehensive. And to be honest, I think they're right to be apprehensive about that. But he's come out and done a video. The one thing that I took out of it is where he's very calm. Obviously, what he's reading has been well thought out, and written. But then we've seen so many times that the previous chairman has come out with columns in the Express and Star talking about aliens and things like that, doing an interview saying that relegation is just a technical term. The biggest thing that we never heard from Jeff, he never ever put his hand up in the air and says, "We've screwed up. This is unacceptable." It was always sort of passing the book. And I think, although obviously at the moment it's words,
Yes.
he
But
one of the first things.
he does acknowledge that he doesn't expect people to trust him straight away, and that and he wants to be judged by his actions. And I think that's key, that he does recognise that shows that he knows that we've been promised and told things again and again and again, that he knows people will be sceptical. I mean, I'm all for giving it another chance, largely because Molyneux is a pressure cooker at the minute. And I don't want to go through the whole season with it as a pressure cooker. I think we have to give this guy, well, from my perspective, I want to give him time. And that, what I want to say is, that isn't blind faith. This is a new person. It's a different tone. A lot of people think, oh, it's another Jeff Shee, but we know other people within the Fosun group who are totally different personalities to Jeff, who are open, pleasant, communicative. So just because he works for Fosun doesn't mean that you can expect exactly the same thing as we got with Jeff Shee. He's a new man. He's a different personality, and so far, it looks promising that he's recognising the problems and he's communicating that he intends to do something about it. But he also recognises we've had so many words that we will be expecting action. So I'm like, come on then. I'm looking forward to waiting and seeing what action's taken.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to read the top line really out of this. He says, "I recognise the current strength of feeling among supporters comes from the supporters' deep loyalty and pride to the club. Wolves mean something special to the city and its people. Frustration, criticism, and emotion," he says, "reflect the high standards and a genuine desire to see the club succeed," which is obviously a reference to the supporters. He then goes on to say,
Yeah.
let me just finish the statement. It then goes on to say, "I've heard you, and I know that the trust has to be rebuilt through actions and not words."
Yeah. I think that's really, really interesting, because I don't think we would have heard that from Jeff Shee.
No. And I think that's the first line that comes out. The next line, which is quite interesting as well, "I want to start." This is something else we wouldn't have heard from Jeff, "by acknowledging where we are. The first half of the season has fallen well short of our expectations. The results and performances have been disappointing. The situation is not acceptable, and it's been painful for everyone who cares about Wolves." He then goes on to, of course, ask through this difficult period, to ask for support and patience, which he says he understands is a massive and huge ask after recent months, but he's saying his focus is on helping the club move forward with clarity and purpose, supporting those responsible for delivering change on the pitch and across the club. I mean,
yeah, I think it's important. I think if Jeff Shee had been giving this statement, I think he might have put more pressure on the fans and basically blamed the atmosphere at Molyneux for the poor performance, and he hasn't done that. He's acknowledged that that's about passion and pride, and I think that's a key telling point for me. But also, from just a general transparency point of view, his communication, I think it's good that he's communicating with the fans. And I think that bodes well for the club, because if you can communicate with the fans externally well, probably internally at Wolves, there's already better communication, because we know there were communication issues within the club. and that if people didn't hold their hands up, they didn't speak up because they knew that usually meant the exit door.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, with that, we do know for a full fact from a lot of, I mean, we speak to people, inside of the club that work there. There are a lot of really, really good people that work at Wolves in all departments that are doing the best that they can. But a lot of the time, obviously, their hands were tied um, through possibly fear, really, because you've seen so many high profile people that have left. I've talked about Laurie went, Zoe Borough, there's others. um Russell Jones is a really good guy, Wolves fan, left. I think we've not had the real reason on that, but from my understanding it's
We haven't
because
had
he
an
just,
announcement on that, let alone any reasoning.
well, he didn't, and I think that was a relationship breakdown with Jeff Shee as well. So it'll be interesting to hear. I've kind of already heard a little bit from a couple of people in the inside how they react to this new guy, because obviously it's early days yet. Whether they're given able to breathe, able to really input their opinions, whether they will be listened to. Because if you look at the Jeff, with the season ticket debacle that happened the year before last, there were lots of people within the club in high levels at the club advising against such an increase and advising against putting up the concessions. And Jeff wasn't listening. He just, that's whatever he said. I mean, the word autocratic, some people thrown away the word dictator, and you can understand the reason why they would say that, because it's like whatever happens, what he said, that was going to happen. Um, and this has been proven again and again and again over a long period of time, these things, and why people have left. We know that Nuno left, was sacked because he was really arguing for more investment at the time. I read an analogy on one of my comments that made me laugh earlier on today, which said it's Wolves under Nuno felt like someone had won £5 million on the lottery, and then the partner had got hold of it and drunk it all away, lost all the money, and now living on the streets in a box. And that was a great analogy, I thought. And now it feels like that person is now in rehab, Wolves, and is going through a bit of a detox. So, as an analogy. So, look, can you understand, Emma, that a lot of people are going to be very, very cynical, because obviously Jeff is still moved over, which was the Fosun Sports, and they're going to say that Nathan is just a puppet for Fosun and stuff like that. Do you can understand that some people would have that view?
Yeah, I absolutely understand that, and I can see why they think that. But that's not me. I don't think that. I don't think Jeff Shee's going to be meddling the day-to-day running. I firmly believed he was sacked by Fosun, and they won't want him in the day-to-day running. It's common practice, actually, when you manage someone out of a business, that they move sideways or upwards first before they do go. But let's be fair, Jeff does a really good job on the esports. You can't argue with that. It's Wolves, the football club, that he failed on. So, if you can go over there and get the esports making money, that's all good for the Wolves brand. But this is a different guy. He'll answer directly to Chairman Guo. I'm sure of it. But I'm sure that clarification will come at some point.
Well,
I don't know. I am still skeptical.
We don't. The thing is, no one.
Yeah, I'm
Go on.
skeptical, not cynical, and I don't have blind faith. But also, this guy, he needs time. He said himself, it's just words. He has to put those words into actions. So I am going to just wait, see, and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. The thing is, no one knows what his direct line manager is. That's all speculation. You know, Wolves do sit under the Fosun Sports. They also sit under Fosun's happiness or and well-being brand or whatever it is
Yeah.
that they have
The
different.
happy group.
The happiness group, and we've not had a lot of happiness as Wolves
Yeah.
fans. Look, the fact of the matter is, the Wolves fans, the Wolves fan base are a passionate bunch. They love their club. We all love our club, and we've seen our club decline from the heights of European tours, semi-finals of the FA Cup, where we on quarter-finals. I saw a stat the other day, that Raul Jimenez scored his latest penalty. 11 out of 11 he scored in the Premier League. He's two more, I think he needs to become from his opening penalty to think.
Consecutive penalty goals.
Yeah, and I just think back to that European quarter final. The only penalty he's missed was that European quarter final. Wolves in the FA Cup, 2-0 up with 11 minutes to go. Wolves in the Premier League beat Tottenham 3-2. There's a pandemic that shuts down the world. Nuno makes the subs one of his biggest regrets. We lose that game in the FA Cup. Raul misses that penalty and we lose 1-0. Wolves, we have an habit. We're just brilliant at managing to grasp defeat from winning positions, and it seems like it's happened again. So look, the Wolves fans have been incredibly patient. They will accept a bad season. They'll accept mistakes, because not one of us, not anybody, unless they're completely arrogant, can say they've never made a mistake in their job, never made a mistake in life, never gone through crazy times where they've done stupid things. Everyone is a human being, and most people will accept mistakes. But if you keep making the same mistake over and over again, which is what happened with Jeff, and he keeps doing the reset over and over again, a bit like the boy that called Wolf, people stop believing it, and the trust had gone. When a manager, as I said, loses the dressing room, the manager is replaced. The problem is that the chairman Guo probably took way too long to replace Jeff, and it got into such a point that the fans completely have stopped believing or trusting what Jeff has, and a lot of people just don't trust anything that Fosun do.
But we have heard talks that he hasn't been happy with Jeff well before this.
Yeah, well, we know from January, from what we were told, there was a meeting where he was getting completely in front of a lot of the board, ripped to pieces by Chairman Guo. But you know, when you look at some of the managers, Jeff kept him on for too long. Gary O'Neill's situation, I think when he was looking at bringing Gary O'Neill back, it was just like everyone was just like, the guy's lost the plot. So look, this guy's come in, Nathan. My first impressions on him, he comes across calm, measured. He said the right things. It's the first time that we've heard someone acknowledge how bad things were, that there's been mistakes, that it's unacceptable. And I like the fact that he's come out and said, look, we want patience, we want you to think, but we know that it's a tough ask. He's acknowledging all of that. And a lot of people will not want to give any patience at all, I think. And that's fair. But he's also said he doesn't want to be judged on words. He needs to be judged on actions. And I think pretty much most Wolves fans will resonate with that. Yeah, it's not just about what you say, because we've heard
there were no words that he could. There were no words that he could say that would make Wolves fans think any different. It was always going to be a matter of action.
Yeah, and it is. So it's going to be interesting to see what follows. I think, look, people wanted Jeff gone. He's gone. People wanted change and action. they've started. They've started with some change and action. People would have wanted to hear from the new interim chairman, Nathan Shee. He's spoken, but people will want to see what happens over the next period of time, and fully judge what happens from there on out. Obviously, it's going to be an interesting period coming up to the January window, because you kind of like, I feel like they're in a rock and a hard place, really. Are they going to go and spend big and try and still salvage something, or they're going to keep the money in the pocket? And if they keep the money in the pocket and they don't spend in January, there's a lot of people could say, oh, well, look, they're not investing, da, 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 da. And if they do go and spend a lot of money, they could be saying, well, why are you wasting the money? Sort of in a bit of a difficult position. The balance, you're smiling there, Emma. The balance is going to be interesting to see how that one plays out, isn't it?
I think it is. And it's like, judge me by my actions, but I don't really know what I think should happen in the January window, whether they should literally be planning for the championship. I mean, I think that's what will happen. But if you look planning for the championship, you need some physicality, some resilience, and personality, and character, and leadership, and that's all what we need right now. Anyway, those are the key traits that we need. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And interestingly enough, guys, if you do want to check this out, Emma's got an article on BBC Sport. As you can see there, Emma. We need fighters, not passengers. There's a nice article on BBC Sport which is talking about the January transfer window, and that's, I think, your second article on BBC Sport, Emma.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah, so you could go and have a read with that, and I think there'll be a version on the Always Wolves website as well.
There's lots of content on the Always Wolves website. There's an article that I've done on Nathan Shee about what I think about his message. The BBC article's on our website too now, and there's lots of content on there. So please do go and check it out, because I've got lots of fan writers that work really hard getting content up there for you.
Yeah, no, I'll just share that. Actually, I'll just share the Always Wolves website. So if you go onto the website, you can see stuff on the press conference from yesterday. The January window hit. There's the BBC article that's on there, and there's also stuff on this. And there's loads of content to read. Some deep dive articles as well, opinion pieces, all of that. alwayswolves.co.uk. So look, just a quick final thoughts, guys. Thank you if you've joined us live. As I say, this is just a bit of an impromptu one. We were out. It was my birthday yesterday, so we just wanted to cover. We will obviously have all the regulars coming on over the next few weeks on Extra Time, to give honest opinions as always here on the channel. Anyone that's got any opinion on anything, a strong one way or the other, is always welcome. Obviously, we try and do it in a family friendly way. But anyone, if you've ever want to come on the channel, give your opinion, come and join our guys and gals on Extra Time. We try to mix it up with different opinions every week. You can always phone in as well on Extra Time or Therapy Hour. And we get lots of emails as well and messages off people. So feel free to get involved if you want to get involved with that during 2026. Quite a few of the guys that are have been on Extra Time, you've got to know quite well over the next 2 or 3 years. But what's your final thought, Emma?
Watch this space. I think that's all we can do. It's like we've got no direct control over what happens. We've just got to, all you can do is take him at his word and just watch and wait and see what happens. It's not, and I will say, it's not about having blind faith. I don't have blind faith. I too am skeptical, but not cynical. And, he's a new guy, a new person. He's hopefully make it better. And we just got to wait and see.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Is it going to be more of the same? And that's what a lot of people really worry about. And I can completely get that. It's just going to be more of the same. It's just going to be a mouthpiece on strings, autocratic and or dictatorship, or is it going to be like more collaborative, more open, more transparent? Um, and we will, as and all the Wolves fans will hold Nathan to account, not just on his words, but obviously on the actions. We'll just continue to cover this, give everyone's a chance to come and put their opinions, whatever they are, and continue to report on everything that's going on around the club. Obviously, the next game will be at Anfield, and we're obviously looking forward to that on the 27th. In the meantime, guys, thanks for joining us live at Impromptu. It's we just want to wish you all thank you for your support, for the channel throughout the year, and really do want to take this opportunity. Myself, there is another little video coming out with my dad later on today, so make sure you wait for that. But I think it's fair to say we want to wish everyone, wherever they are, you and your families, a really wonderful and happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas. See you all at
All
Liverpool.
the best. Yeah, all the best, guys. See you soon.
Oh.
And leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I will read them and get back to you. All the best. Always Wolves, and Merry Christmas.